Today is the seventh day of Muharram. The family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam has run out of water in the hot desert of Karbala. We think of the sons of Imam Hussein alayhi salam today. Imam Hassan alayhi salam today, especially Hazrat Qasim. He asked his uncle Mola Hussein if he could go to the battlefield. Now could the Imam say, how could the Imam say yes to the child barely 13 years old? And his brother Orban Qasim alayhi salam did not know what to do and went sadly to his mother. Suddenly, his mother gave him a letter of his father and asked him to give this letter to his uncle, Mullah Hussain alayhi salam. The Imam had the letter from his brother, which said, "Oh my brother, let my son Qasim fight in my place in Karbala." The Imam could not stop Qasim, and with tears in his eyes, he said, "Qasim, you can go." He fought, he fought bravely with the enemy. Many strong men aimed to fight against him, but Qasim alayhi salam defeated each of them. Suddenly he was attacked, and at last he fell and he was trampled under the horses. The Imam cried, how, how hard is it for you, uncle, that you called him for help? But he was not able to do anything. Inna ilai wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
What is the famous thing saying Azad Qasim? Yes. Oh, just raise your hand. Yes. Yes, maybe. Yes. Death is sweeter than honey. Who asked to him? Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein. You know, Hazrat Qasim is so little, so even they don't have a proper shoes for. So his shoes were big, and there is like when anyone going to fight, they wear some clothes for fighting clothes. So Hazrat Qasim so little, the clothes are not fitting. Hazrat Qasim, and how he got the shahada. His body is just like in pieces, and they run the horses on his body. And Imam Hussein bring Hazrat Qasim dead body in a very small scarf because have small pieces. So just try to be just Hazrat Qasim, like how he obedient to his uncle and how he sacrificed himself. And he said, I'm not afraid to death, uncle. Hey, Imam, the shahadat for me just like sweeter than honey. One of the famous saying from Hazrat Qasim. So, inshallah, you be ready to become a part of Imam Zamana army, inshallah, by your good character and by your good vision. So now I'm going to invite a next speaker, please. Salawa. Yes. Allahumma salli. And in Majlis, no laugh, no talk, because who's sitting with us? And angels. What the angel does? Yes. They're going back, they're having a good smell coming from their wings. The other angels saying, you're having a very beautiful smell coming from your wings. From where are you coming? And they say, we are coming from Majlis Imam al Hussein. And when they go back and they rub their wings with the floor of Imam Barga, they're having a smell. So we are so blessed. We are here with angels and baby Fatima to Zara, and we're commemorating the Shahadat of Ahlebaith, the Shahadat of all Shuhada Karbala. Or Muhammad wa Muhammad try to bring and try to cry. Think about Qasim and then cry. Think about Ali Asgar and cry. Okay? Shabash. Good.
Assalamu alaikum. Raise your side, Surah Fatiha for other monuments. Today I will talk about Hazrat Ali Akbar. He was born on the 11th of Shaban from the point of the view of dignity and handsomeness. There has been no parallel to Ali Akbar alayhi salam. Ali Akbar ibn Hussein had a beautiful voice. Ali Akbar is my ideal because he followed the Imam of his time and truth, his famous saying, if we are on the right path, it doesn't matter if death meets us or if we meet death. We should follow his footsteps and should be very pious and obedient like him. It was he who always recited the azan on the morning of the day of Ashura. Ali Akbar recited the azan. Everyone knew that it was the last time that they would hear this azan. Imam Hussein alayhi salam began to weep when Ali Akbar began his azan. The ladies could also be heard crying in their tents. Imam alayhi salam, when his son requested to go to battle, permitted him. He lowered his head while tears encircled his eyes. He raised his forefinger towards the heaven and says, O Allah, you are the witness that I have dispatched this young man to the battlefield to wage war on the enemy, who from the view of handsomeness, perfection, and character was most similar to your Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is when Ali Akbar alayhi salam roared like a lion, attacking the enemy as he recited the famous verses, I am Ali, son of Hussein, son of Ali. By Allah, we are closer to the Holy Prophet. I will attack you with my spear until it is bent. I will defend my father with my sharp sword. As if it is expected of a Hashemite Alawite youth, how Ibn Ziyad dare issues order with us. Ali Akbar, despite the thirst of 3 days with no water, was untouched by the enemy. He returned to his father and asked, O my father, this thirst is killing me as well as this armament is hurting me. Is there a cup of water which will renovate my strength to combat the enemies? Imam Hussein cried, for Ali was his great sacrifice. O my son, continue to battle. It will not be long before your grandfather sallallahu alaihi wasallam brings you a cup of water, after which you will never feel thirsty again. As Ali Akbar returned to the battlefield, he recited the following, Truly, the war manifests the inner essence of a valiant. The truthfulness of claims is proved at the end of war. By Allah, I am not going to be separated from you until forcing your sword to be retired in their sheaths. There is two accounts of what tragedy comes next. A tragedy so great it has caused the skies to weep for Hussein alayhi salam. One is as follows. As Ali Akbar alayhi salam approaches the cursed enemy, and as he is during the battle, the other enemies, he is struck by the lana. A spear pierces his blessed chest, and as he falls to the ground, it breaks, leaving only the metal head in his chest. He calls out his salams to his father. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. Salam.
So outside so hot. You're thirsty, huh? And when you thirsty, you ask water and you have water. But they don't have a water. More than 3 days. In Arabs, much harder, hard day than here. They don't have a water for 3 or 4 days. So when you drink water or any kind of Jews whom you have to remember? Imam Hussain and Hazrat Ali Asgar and Hazrat Ali Akbar. When he fighting and he came back and he said, Baba, I am so thirsty. Can I have some water? Imam Hussain said, no, we don't have water. But when you got the Shahadat, who will give you the water? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam from the house of Kausar in Jannah. So whenever you drink water, just think about Ali Asgar, Bibi Sakina, Hazrat Ali Akbar, Imam Hussain, Ghazi Abbas, because they sacrificed without water more than 3 days. So remember, bring them in your thought and then drink water. Okay? So who's next? Come on, Salawat. This is now where to sit in the Majlis. Okay. ध्यान से कर बैठ.
Follow. Assalamu alaikum. Today I will talk about Hazrat Abdullah and Hazrat Qasim, the two sons of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. First, I want to talk about the last Shaheed in Karbala before Imam Hussain. He was the young son of the second son of the Imam alayhi salam, who was only 11 years old at the time of Karbala. During the last moments of Imam Hussein's life, Bahr ibn Ka'ab was about to strike him. When Abdullah was running to the tents, he stood in the way and shouted, "Are you going to strike my uncle?" The brave boy shielded Imam Hussain from the stroke of the sword, whereby his hand got cut and began to dangle. Abdullah cried, "Oh, Uncle!" Hussain took hold of his nephew, drew him to his chest, and said, "O son of my brother, bear patiently what you have suffered and consider it good, because Allah will make it better. You meet your pious forefathers at the point." Harmala bin Gahil threw an arrow at Abdullah and martyred him in his uncle's arm. I also want to talk about Hazrat Qasim, another son of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, who became Shaheed the day of Karbala. He was only 13 years old. He was only 3 years old when he lost his father and was raised by Imam Hussain. He learned sword fighting from his brave uncle Abbas and his cousin Ali Akbar. On the day of Ashura, Hazrat Qasim saw his cousin go to battle in the way of Allah, protecting the Imam of the time. He too wanted to go, but every time he would come and ask for permission from Imam Hussain, Imam would deny him, and saying how he could let the son of his brother die. Qasim asked many times before going to his mother. When his mother saw that her son was upset, she gave him a letter from Qasim's father had written before he died. The letter stated, "My son Qasim, a day will come when my brother Hussain will be facing an enemy army of tens of thousands. That will be the day when Islam will need to be saved by sacrifice. You must represent me on that day." Qasim read the letter and gave it to his uncle. After reading the letter, Hussain said, "Oh, my nephew, how can I stop you from doing what your father wanted you to do? In the name of Allah, go. Allah be with you." Hazrat Qasim went to the battlefield and, like all the members of his family, fought bravely. When he was martyred, he called his uncle for help. Imam Hussain and Hazrat Abbas came to help. A chaos happened in Yazid's army, and the horses trampled Hazrat Qasim's body. It is said that Imam Hussain carried the body of his nephew in a bag after collecting the pieces. The lesson for us is that we need to be prepared to give all, including our lives, to support the Imam of our time, because it is the path of Allah. May Allah hasten the appearance of Imam Zamana and make us among his servants. Salawat.
Good job. Good job. Who's next? Come on. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Tonight is the 7th of Muharram. The 7th of Muharram is a very tragic day. In the event of Karbala, on this day, water was stopped from reaching Hussein's camp. It was very hot in Karbala. As the days went by, the children became very thirsty. Tonight is the night of Shah Qasim, the 13-year-old son of Imam Hassan and Farwa. Ashura came to the land of Karbala. Ali Ali Akbar gave the Fajr Adhan. Everyone prayed the Fajr Salat. One by one, Hussein's companions went to the battlefield and gave their life for Islam. They all became martyrs and Shaheed al-Karbala. By Zohar time, Imam Hussein was left with only his family, owner Muhammad, Qasim, Ali Akbar, and Abbas. The companions of Imam Hussein, while they were not alive, did not let Imam Hussein's family go to the battlefield. No one was left now. Muhammad were keen to help their uncle save Islam. They went to the battlefield and never returned. Qasim took permission from his mother, Farwa, to fight. Then he went to his uncle Hussein to ask for his permission to fight. How can Hussein give permission to his brother's son to die? How can he allow a young child to die? Qasim, you are young. You are the only child of your mother. Qasim, you are my brother's son. I promised my brother to look after you. My darling Qasim, you are the image of my brother. You remind me of Hassan. No, Qasim, no, I cannot allow you to die. Qasim was very disappointed. He went to his mother for help. His mother reminded him of the taviz his father had tied to his arm. Qasim opened the taviz and placed it inside a found letter for Hussein. Qasim was pleased to see the letter. He took the letter of his uncle Hussein. Hussein read that letter from his brother Hassan. Brother Hussein, a day will come when Islam will need to be saved by sacrifice. Hussein, I will not be alive on that day. However, my son Qasim will be there. It is my wish that Qasim should represent me on that day. My dearest Qasim, how can I stop you now? Go, Qasim, go. He took Qasim to Bibi Zainab. Zainab, bring me Hassan's abba and his turban. Hussein dressed Qasim with Hussein's abba slash cloak and turban. Zainab, look at Qasim. Doesn't he look handsome? He looks just like our brother Hassan. Tears flowed from Hussein's and Zainab's eyes as they remembered their brother. Hussein then dressed Qasim with a battlefield uniform and gave him the weapons. A young child with adult weapons, Qasim was so young that his sword touched the ground as he walked. He could not mount his horse on his own. Abbas, his uncle, helped mount the horse. The young fighter Qasim rode to the battlefield, a rider whose feet did not reach the stirrups, the footstraps on the horse, but he was keen to save Islam. He was the young son of Hassan, the grandson of Ali, and he was trained by Abbas. Qasim found gallantry. He fought a battle history will never forget. The enemy could not overpower him. One of Yazid's cowardly soldiers came from behind and hit Qasim on the head with a sword. Qasim was covered in blood. The young Qasim, thirsty for 3 days, could not take it anymore. He fell from his horse. As he fell, he cried, "Oh, uncle, come quickly, help me, uncle." Hussein and Abbas rushed to the battlefield. Dreadful events then took place. The enemies of Islam thought Hussein and Abbas were coming to attack them. They got scared. There was confusion. Horses ran from one side to another, from here to there, from there to here. The horses ran over Qasim, who was lying wounded on the ground. Hussein and Abbas were searching for Qasim. My darling Qasim, where are you? Qasim, speak to your uncle Qasim. Qasim, where are you, my son? Qasim could not reply. Qasim had stopped breathing. When the enemies withdraw, what did Hussein see? Qasim was not in one piece. The horses had trodden on him and torn him into pieces. Imagine Hussein's feelings. His brother's Hassan's son lying trampled into pieces. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. What shall Hussein do now? What shall Hussein do now? Qasim torn into pieces, his arms and legs scattered on the sand of Karbala. Hussein took off his abaya and spread it on the ground. He gathered the pieces of Qasim's body and placed them on his abaya. He then tied the abaya into a bundle. Abbas helped Hussein carry Qasim's trampled body. When Hussein reached camp, he cried out, Zainab, help, Zainab. My heart is broken, Zainab. I have no strength left to carry Qasim's body to the tent. Zainab asked Amma Fiza to help you take Qasim to the tent. The ladies cried and did matam for Qasim, Ya Qasimiya, Ya Qasimiya, Ya Qasimiya. Salawat.
Who's next? Shabash. Salawat. जुबान के साथ दिल बोला हलीम
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today we will pay our attributes to Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his participation in Karbala. We will talk about his son Qasim alayhi salam. Some riwayat narrates that Imam Hassan had several sons and among them 7 had participated in the Battle of Karbala. We usually heard strong riwayat about Qasim ibn Hassan alayhi salam. Qasim was 3 years old when his father, Imam Hassan, was poisoned to death. He grew up in the company of his paternal uncles and cousins. He learned his sword fighting skills from his uncle Mola Abbas. Qasim accompanied his uncle Imam Hussein alayhi salam on his journey towards Karbala. His mother Farwa was also with him. On the day of Ashura, Qasim asked Imam's permission twice to go to the battlefield. Every time the Imam sent him back. The Imam could not permit him to fight because as he was so young and the only son of Farwa. Qasim went back to his mother. When Bibi Farwa found him upset, she gave him Imam alayhi salam's letter that was written for that day. The letter stated, My son Qasim, a day will come when my brother Hussein will be facing an army of thousands. That will be the day when Islam will need to be saved only by sacrifice. You must represent me. Salawat. Qasim took the letter to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. When Imam Hussein alayhi salam read his elder brother's letter, he gave his permission to fight by saying, O my brother's son, how can I stop you from doing what your father wanted to do? In the name of Allah, go. Allah will be with you. Qasim said his final goodbyes to his mother and aunt. 13-year-old Qasim was too young, yet he fought with bravery and killed many Yazidi fighters. A man sneakingly struck Qasim's head from the back. Qasim fell from the horse and he was bleeding heavily. He called his uncle for help. Imam Hussein and Mola Abbas rushed towards him. When Yazid's army saw both of his uncles, they got scared and in confusion, horses and men started running in all directions and trampled Qasim's body. When both of his uncles found the body, they could not carry him as his body was in too many pieces. The Imam collected his remains in his abaya and took him to the camps. Two bodies were trampled in the battlefield of Karbala. One was Fatima alayhi salam Hussein ibn Ali, whose body was trampled by many horses after he was beheaded. Second grandson of Fatima, Qasim ibn Hassan, who was alive when his body was crushed. Our salam to the bravest warrior who was alive when his bones were crushed, just like his grandmother Bibi Fatima alayhi salam. May Allah keep us all on the righteous path. Salawat.
Anybody else to do the speech? No, we are ready to go outside, inshallah. So we have a julus outside, and every kid will do the noha outside. Okay, whatever you have to noha, and then after the majlis here in center, we have enough time to do one noha. So I will request all kids do combine, not the one person doing noha in in when doing matam here before after majlis, and so do together. So prepare one noha, so we everybody can participate in that noha. Which noha? After the majlis of central majlis, okay? But now for julus, you can do alone or whatever, okay? So we ready to go outside, inshallah, and we'll go and we'll do the noha there. Salabat. मुझे तो उसानी आप अभी ले लेना मुझसे जब तुम पढ़ोगे. इसको ऑफ कहाँ से करना है?
अच्छा अभी 5 मिनट है प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट करने में, आप लोग थोड़ा छोटा सा ब्रेक लें. याली ली मौला ली मौला. इंशाल्लाह 5 से 7 मिनट में मजलिस स्टार्ट कर देंगे, आप लोग ब्रेक ले रहे हैं. Once again, if it's a Toyota RAV4 red color belongs to somebody, it's parked on the wrong spot. If you can move it, so we can make a space for other people parking. Once again, Toyota RAV4. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها كذبت ثمود بطغواها إذ انبعث أشقاها فقال لهم رسول الله ناقة الله وسقياها فكذبوه فعقروها فدمدم عليهم ربهم بذنبهم فسواها ولا يخاف عقباها صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ديگر صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجه. जब कभी तुम गर्दिशे दौरा से घबराया करो जब कभी तुम गर्दिशे दौरा से घबराया करो परचमे अब्बास के साए में आ जाया करो जब कभी तुम गर्दिशे दौरा से घबराया करो जब कभी पैदा हो दिल में ख्वाहिशे खुल्दे बरी जब कभी पैदा हो दिल में ख्वाहिशे खुल्दे बरी मजलिसे शब्बीर में आया करो जाया करो जब कभी तुम गर्दिशे दौरा से घबराया करो खुद बखुद फिक्रो अमल की तरबियत हो जाएगी खुद बखुद फिक्रो अमल की तरबियत हो जाएगी अपने बच्चों से अलम गाजी का उठवाया करो जब कभी तुम गर्दिशे दौरा से घबराया करो रिस्क में वुसअत मिलेगी, बरकतें बढ़ जाएंगी, रिस्क में वुसअत मिलेगी, बरकतें बढ़ जाएंगी। हाज़री हज़रत